Why is this guy, 22-year-old male, so upset about my sexual history? This is from a 23-year-old female on the Ask Men Reddit. All right, so let's get into this one, and then I still have some questions with, I'll bring them up in this post, but I'm hoping some of you guys will offer some opinions. But anyway, here we go. He was pursuing me at first, and he seemed really into me. He thought I was really cute and caring, and he asked me about not talking to other people and deleting Tinder, so I did. But he began slut-shaming me really hard when I didn't want to answer how many guys I've slept with, and he had assumed I had slept with multiple people already. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there for a moment. The reason he did that is that if he asked how many people she slept with and she did not want to answer, then he knows why. He knows the number's high or higher than he's going to expect or higher than the image she's putting out. He called me a slut and a whore and said I've effed everyone when he didn't know me or my sexual history. After trying to understand his viewpoint to no avail and repeatedly being insulted, I decided to cut him off. But before I blocked him, I let out my frustration by telling him that he's misogynistic and has small dick energy. Did I go too far? I think that his bitterness towards me having slept with other guys before him may have been because he is insecure. Within 5 minutes of blocking him, a random number texted me saying that a guy sent him to get nudes. After I declined, he called me a whore, so I blocked him too. It's apparent that the guy I was talking to told his person that I'm a whore who would send him nudes. Why is this guy so bitter towards me? Okay, so there's a couple things here. First things first is I don't agree with the language he used and all the calling names and this and that. And so this is just a side note. And granted that what she said, that he's misogynistic, has small dick energy, I'm sure she also provoked him more to say the things he said. But this is just in general. And this is just human to human being advice. It won't do any good to call names like that. And also, one thing about hanging out with women, dating women in this Me Too era, and I get this question from buddies of mine now. They're like, "Hey, are you?" Because they know, they know my lifestyle, and I'm a risk taker. And they ask, are you worried about dating in the Me Too era? And although I'm aware of it, right? I'm aware of it, and maybe I don't make some of the same risky moves that I used to. I'm not, in the sense that like stuff like this, if you are doing this and calling women sluts and whores and all that, that is the type of thing that is going to provoke someone to want to get back at you more. With that being said, it's never a good idea, and I will tell guys this all the time, to not shame her and do all this stuff. You can think that way and all that, that's fine, but I just wouldn't do it because, one, I just don't like to do that to anyone, but also just because strategically you don't want to upset a girl that could potentially, do some damage to you. Well, now that that's over, here's what I'm going to say about this about the sexual history thing. One thing that I was ignorant on and I've become more aware of is, I've always known that if a girl sleeps around, she's not going to be someone you're going to want to commit to. I didn't know as much about kind of the more of the science of pair bonding, and that the more people a woman sleeps with, the less likely she's going to be able to bond with them and commit to him, because it really is different when you think about going back, if you had a girlfriend or something in middle school or high school, early high school, and it was that like love dove, you're just kids type of thing, but she seems so obsessed and committed to you. And then you date a girl these days, or try get in a relationship with a girl these days when she's older, mid-20s, mid-30s, mid-40s, and it's not that same thing, because that bond, that connection is not longer there. She's been with too many different guys that bond cannot be as strong. So with that part, if a guy was seriously considering marriage, then it would be good to know how many people she slept with. I don't know. I don't ask that question. And I guess actually no here, and this is why I like this one, because I don't really have an answer to this, and I think you guys will, and we'll have potentially different opinions. But if you're a guy that is like, no, actually, if she's slept with more than 3 people, I'm just not interested, and I don't want to waste my time. I guess that actually is not a bad strategy, because where I'm coming from is I'm not trying to commit to a girl, therefore I don't want to ask a girl that, because I know she will lie to me. And it's not saying this because like all women lie or something. It's just with that question, she's gonna lie. Women are gonna lie about that question, and I am good at picking up when people are lying. I can just read their voice tonality, body language, and I'm pretty good at picking that up. So I would know she's lying, and then I would see that she's lying anyway, and then I would just not respect her as much anymore, and then I would just be turned off. So I don't even ask those questions, because I don't want to. There's no point in my situation, because I'm not trying to commit. But maybe that's where this, the question will be here is like, yeah, I guess what would you do? Would you ever ask a girl this question? Or yeah, I get, because again, to me, if I don't want to settle down with a girl, I'm not going to bring this up, because I know it's just a question that's I'm not going to want to know the answer to, and then I'm also going to hear that she's lying, and I'm not going to like the answer, basically. I don't know, guys. Let's look at some of these comments here. He's a piece of... Don't worry about him. We can have a conversation about sexual history, but his BS antics aren't a part of it. Sure. Because he hates women, block him, keep track of any more insult. See, this is exactly why the way he went about this was all wrong, because now look at this. If he continues this, take all your evidence down to the courthouse and get a restraining order against him. You don't want to provoke anything against this. When I get women mad at me, the thing they're mad at me for is just that, like, why don't you text me? You never take me out. You never ask me to do this or that. I never provoke a woman to make any sort of wanting to make any type of bad claims like that, I guess. So that's just a little side advice, I guess. The politically correct answer is your past shouldn't matter. That is a politically correct, but in practical terms, we all have limits and deal breakers. Sometimes the number of partners, 10, 100. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. Nothing wrong with him not liking them. The problem is name calling. He should have respectfully gone his own way without the name calling. Yeah. I agree, although I want to mention statistically, partners who've slept a fair amount of people have a higher chance to cheat or get divorced. That is true. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is true. And I don't know who I was watching, but and they had they had the documents below to to fact check it, but they mentioned the statistics of divorce rates if you had slept with, like, if a girl had slept with over 10 partners or something like that, and they just had these different rates of divorces based on how many people she had previously been with, and it went up drastically the more people. So it's a real thing. I don't know what the actual number. Does anyone watching this know what the number is of, like, pair bonding? What that would be is, at what point I would imagine every new partner would lower the chances of that connection for the next, but I'm wondering at, like, what drastic percentage. You guys know what I'm saying? All right, anyway, moral of the story, in my opinion, is, if you're looking to settle down, it does matter how many partners they've had. I personally don't like to ask that question in my situation, but either way, I think we can all agree, don't go about it like this guy, because there's no reason to provoke someone like this. I like the comment where it said, just respectfully go your own way. Just, if she's acting out, and that's the same thing with anything. All my texting advice, if a girl is, like, not playing along, or she's not doing what I want, or she sends a short text, I just don't text her back. I just withdraw my attention. I don't give her attention. I don't get angry. I don't yell. All right. See you guys. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe. Peace.